Welcome to C3 Microcloud. Today we're going to learn about each of the types of content available in C3 Microcloud and how to add them. Remember that only teacher and administrator users can add content. First, let's log in. Here, I've logged in as a teacher. And then, either via the menu on the left or on the main page itself, we'll click on Content. Then we go to Add. Clicking on Add will open 4 options: Folders, Files, URLs, and Videos. Let's start with Folders. Folders are used to organize content. You can add different folders to organize your content. For example, I can create an English content folder for the second year with access for authenticated users only. So when I click on Folders, a form will open. I'll add a name for my folder. For example, let's say I'm a math teacher who wants to add a folder to organize the contents of my subject. I'll add a description to this folder. I can also indicate which grid and subject this folder belongs to. Remember that both the grade and the subject must already be registered on your device. If they are not registered, the teacher or administrator must do this by selecting the LMS settings option in the menu. This is a simple procedure, but we'll cover it in another video. Returning to our example, as you can see in the video, we are informing you that this folder is for students in the 12th year of elementary school, whose subject is mathematics. After that, we'll indicate the topics, or tags. In this field, if you don't have the topic you want to insert in the list, you can add it here. Let's see an example. Here, there was no math topic, so I added it. There was no logic topic either, so I asked for it to be added. You'll notice that the next time I add a type of content, the topics I've just registered will already be in my previous list of topics. In addition, I will also be able to indicate the visibility of this content. If it is public content, anyone logged into the system or not can access it. If the content is visible to teachers, only this type of user will be able to view this folder. And if it is content for authenticated users, it means that only users logged into the system, no matter what type of user they are, as long as they are logged into the system, will have access to this folder. I can also indicate whether or not this folder will be editable by other users. After that, I'll save it. And here's my math folder. Once you're inside that folder, notice that we're now in Content, inside the math folder we created. I can add all kinds of content too. For example, now I'm going to add a file. Files can be PDFs, docs, PowerPoint presentations, images, and other types of files too. When you ask to add a file, a form will open. I can drag my files in here or have them searched for on my computer. For example, I'm going to find and point out where these previously saved files are on my computer. So here I've indicated where these files are, and in this case, I wanted to add a PDF. Click Open, and this file will be automatically uploaded. I enter a name for this file and also add a description. I can also add more files here. Note that I also have information about the size of this file and how much available disk space my C3 microcloud still has. Notice that now the grid and theme options are not enabled for editing because this file belongs to the math folder we created. And within this folder, we've already indicated that it's for students in the 2nd grade and the subject is mathematics. The only place I'll be able to edit and add to are the topics. You'll notice that the topics I had previously registered are now part of my list. I can add as many topics as I want. Then just click on Upload and you're done. Here's the PDF file I've just added. But I can also add URL type content. The URLs will point to a location either external or internal to the C3 microcloud. Let's look at the examples. When you click on URL, a form will open. I'll have already copied the address I want to point to, and here, in URL, I'll paste this address. Pasting this address will automatically open the name and description information. This information will be loaded automatically when you copy the external address to be pointed to. Again, the grid and subject options will not be enabled for editing, because this URL also belongs to the math folder. But the topics are. I can insert and register as many topics as I need. Below, you have the option to adjust the thumbnail. I can stretch it, repeat it, or ask for it to be adjusted, or I can choose another thumbnail file. In this case, I already have to have this thumbnail file saved on my computer so that I can indicate where it is. In this example, we can see that the thumbnail file we want has been selected and saved on our computer. Then click on the Open button. Okay, here it is. The new thumbnail that I've just uploaded into this URL type content. Next, I'm going to click on Save. And here is the external URL that I asked C3 to point to. Remember, in this example, we are only pointing to an external address, and therefore this website will not be downloaded inside your C3 microcloud. In this case, we're just pointing to an external address. This means that the moment I want to access this external address, I'll need to have connectivity. In other words, I need to have internet available. But we can also, as mentioned above, point to an internal location in the C3 microcloud. In this case, we click on URL again, copy the internal location in the C3 microcloud where we want to point, and paste this address into the URL field. Next, we will enter a name and a description. To emphasize again, the grid and subject options will not be enabled for editing, as this URL is contained within the mathematics folder. Just below our form, we can also choose a thumbnail to fill in. As we saw in a previous example, I have to indicate the location of the thumbnail, which I have previously saved on my computer, and click on Open. And here's the thumbnail I've just selected. Next, I click on the Save button so that this file can be uploaded as my card image. And here is the internal location within the C3 microcloud that I pointed out. This will make the student's learning journey much easier. In this specific example, on clicking, users will go straight to the math class that was pointed out by the URL without having to search for its location. And finally, I can also add videos. Clicking on Add Video will open a disclaimer informing you that downloading or caching videos is subject to the terms and conditions of the service provider and content providers, and that before proceeding, you must ensure that there is no infringement. And by proceeding, you explicitly agree to comply with these terms and conditions. Critical Links assumes no responsibility or liability arising from your action. If you are aware of this, you will click I agree. Next, a window will open for you to enter the address of your videos. You can insert more than one video at a time. Just put each address on a line, as shown here in the example where 2 videos were inserted at once. Then click Next and the thumbnail and title of these videos will automatically be loaded. Another important piece of information is that it will tell you how much space is being demanded and how much disk space is still available. Next, we'll click on Save. And now, my 2 videos added at once are downloaded into my C3 microcloud. This way, these videos are already inside the C3, unlike URLs, which I'm just pointing to an external address or to a location inside my C3 microcloud. And if we're pointing to an external location, we mustn't forget that we'll need connectivity when we access it. But I can also download a website into my C3 microcloud. However, this example will be covered in another video. Returning to our demonstration, here we are in Content, and we have our Mathematics folder created, and inside that folder are all the contents that we have just inserted. Critical Links thanks you for your attention.